Hey everybody, welcome back inside the stash. We're looking at a bunch of Ferraris. The reason why we're looking at a bunch of Ferraris, of course, is the fact that we have moved this shelf back where it belongs. Hallelujah. Uh, this is my Ferrari collection at the moment. I believe it is everything. I don't believe there's anything in any of the boxes left over. I do need to get another F40 Le Mans, but that's another story. Uh, it is pretty much kind of sort of split up, in the sense of how the cars are designated. Your far left column. Let's see if I can poke into the camera without blowing the picture up here. The far left column, right here. It's of course all your supercars. Uh, they consider the 250 GTO and the 288 GTO to be supercars, which is pretty reasonable, I believe. Uh, I have an F40 Tamiya as well, which is in a pile of junk on this bench that is partially started. Not that the kit is junk itself, but it's just there's too much stuff on this table that I build off of right now that when I started moving things around, everything got put everywhere. And, that being what it is. The second column in the middle here is sort of your Grand Tourer type vehicles. And then the stuff over here on this side, and obviously the Dinos, are your boxer engine stuff, and then there's some of those 430 challenge kits up there. Just started putting in situations where I don't have a lot of race cars from a specific brand. I've started putting the race cars with their brand of kit rather than trying to pile all the race cars into one place. Mainly because even trying to divvy them up into what they are in terms of like, oh, well, this is DTM and this is touring and this is rally and this is, endurance. There's still too much junk. I need to build some stuff. But be that as it may, that's the Ferrari thing. And then we also got this shelf, which you guys never ever see because it's never in the shots. This shelf put into place. And this is now my Lamborghini collection. Your Huracan and all my Aventadors on the left, all the middle column there, except for the Veneno that's on top there, because everything in that Veneno box it's sort of like a Mobius kit. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there, and it never fits back in the way you want it to. So the box isn't completely closed. So it has to go on top of a huge stack of Murcielagios. Obviously, a bunch of racing Murcielagios. The blank ones, the gray ones, are for the various decal sets I have. The liveried ones have the decals that came in the kit. And then over there towards the right, which is getting a little bit out of focus, and I don't think I can control the camera on here like I would be able to normally. No, I don't think I can. Uh, the third column, or the last full column on the right, has my Sesto Elemento, the two new Aoshima Diablos, a Fujimi Diablo Super Veloz, some Gallardos, the Murcielagios, and the Reventon. And then the little half stack on the very end, which is completely blanked out. I realized looking at it in preview here that it's just a bunch of shine, is my three Aoshima Countach kits, the LP400, the 5000 Quattro and the 5000 Quattro with the fuel injection, as well as a Hasegawa Miria. I have one more Lamborghini to stick up there, which is going to be in the stuff I'm going to show you here in a second. And then let's see here. What else? If I can tip this down without getting the top of this box that's sitting here. There. I'll move this out of the frame. That's my Mazda shelf. Pretty much self-explanatory, I think. On the end there is a bunch of resin trans kits and stuff like that. This is sort of my island of misfit toys. Right there, which is all of my sort of French vehicles, for lack of a better term, a bunch of Heller kits, the two ICM Opals that I have, as well as all of the Renaults and two CVs and things like that. And then the bottom shelf, which you guys can't see because I can't tip the camera down that far, is sort of my orphan kits. We have my Daihatsus, Suzukis, Alphas, and stuff like that. My Volvo wagon, my street Volvo wagon, and things like that. So that's pretty much what that's going to be. It's going to stay that way in terms of that shelf being not only back against the wall where it belongs, not the wall's painted, but you know, that's pretty much the organization that's going to stay. If we, I, I may just we'll see how this looks when I film. There may be a cut here, but so over here and all of this debris up here is Subarus. Over here is Hondas. This whole shelf is going to get emptied on the top. These are going to go into their own shelving areas now, because at this point I have enough Subarus and enough Hondas to justify having them be, you know, in their own stacks. Once all of this unsightly Japanese stuff leaves, I'll put more unsightly Japanese of the Nissan variety up there, and then this bottom shelf here that has just random stuff. There's some Volkswagens, and then there's all these Hondas. The Hondas will go with their Honda brethren. These I'm trying to figure. I have some other random things that don't have homes that it's going to become another orphan shelf, because these Volkswagens, and there's something else that I was going to put with the Volkswagens that has just completely and totally slipped my mind at the moment, along with this Mitsubishi Pajero that needs to go with its Mitsubishi brethren. That'll basically, in the bottom shelf that's down here, it's empty, because that's where parts of the Lamborghini stuff were. This is going to be all Nissans. All Nissans all the time. From here, basically, these three, this whole shelf, possibly the bottom as well, and then this is already Nissans, and this is already all Skylines. All this is going to get be Nissans, a whole wall of Nissans. Underneath here, this is BMWs, and below it is English vehicles, Lotuses, Mini Coopers, things like that. These are probably going to stay where they're at, because right now I have one BMW to stick in here, which we'll show you in a second, and then there's really not a whole heck of a lot else going on. And then the far shelf that would be one more over this way is basically 3 shelves of Toyotas and 1 of Mitsubishi. The Mitsubishis are going to get yanked out because there's, again, more Mitsubishis than one little shelving section can handle, so they're going to get their own thing. And they'll, they'll be on their own. And then when you come back over this way to the race car pile, I'm going to divvy this up into DTM, and then these endurance vehicles will go elsewhere. And then coming down a shelf with this random assortment of Tamiya sprays. This is too much random crap shoved together, because I've got like World Touring, British Touring, Japanese Touring. There's an F1 kit. There's a Skoda. There's a Polo. There's some JTCC stuff over here. Yeah, this is too much. So the rally stuff's all going to go together. The touring stuff is all going to go together. I have a whole bunch of JTCC stuff that's all in random places. This is all going to get reorganized, and more than likely not on this shelf. I'm thinking that the endurance stuff that's already up here, all of these BMWs and McLarens, everything, is just going to stay up there. The DTM's going to come off, and then the DTM may go into here, or it may go into another shelving system, because below the race cars is Mercedes, below the Mercedes is Porsche. And again, with both of those things, I have more kits than I have space, just by like 1 or 2, which is really annoying. I know. Build them. Stop whining. Point taken. But yeah, so we're going to have to do a little more organization. This whole shelf has to be moved so that I can waterproof the rest of this wall, as well as paint the rest of this wall. I don't know if I'm going to paint the back wall back here or not. It'll look kind of funny if it's not painted, but there's so many things back there you can't see the wall anymore. So there is that. So if you ever wondered, this is a lead into this question that I've seen floating around ever since we did the What Got You Into Modeling. If you ever wondered why this is called the Stash Project, I think you sort of get the idea at this point. Lots of models, big old stash, need to be building. Need to get this never-ending project done so that we can get some of the stuff and do something besides trying to figure out how to shelve it all. So let's bring the camera back down to normal here and show you what we got. We've got some stuff in from Media Mix. We've got some stuff in from Plamos. We've got some stuff in from overseas, from Baiyi, from Hobby Search, from Hobby Link Japan. So we'll be right back. All right, guys. So, many things. What else is new, right?
many things. Many builds, many things. Got two things from Plamos, three things technically, but there's two of the same thing. But one of them is I've got the photo etch here for the Revell of Germany 570S McLaren. You see you get a new rear hatch included here because the rear hatch that comes with the kit is a pile of ass. So they've made a new resin one. That's what this sort of addendum photo etch down here is for. And then there are decals, as there were, decals, and some other little individual photo etch pieces that allow you to finish the conversion over between the 570 and the 540C. Again, with the photo etch seatbelts, could take it or leave it. There's some metal transfers in here as well. But a pretty comprehensive photo etch set. I got two of these again because I wanted to build one each of the 540C and the 570C because I already have the wheels. Do I have the models? No, actually, for a change, I don't have the models. I just have the stuff. And then the other thing we got from Plamos, very exciting, is the 2014 Z28 trans kit for the Revell 2010 Camaro. People may recall this is what I threatened to be building for Atlanta. Still kind of up in the air as whether or not we're really going to make Atlanta or not, because just time off and things. I can get the time off. I just don't know if my wife can get the time off. And so we're going to be doing a review of this in an upcoming video, so stay tuned for more of that. Beyond that, it is just, oh, Jesus, almost dumped it out. Just a huge box of resin. So more in depth on that later. It's too much to try to show you right now. So there's that. Let's see. From Media Mix, let me move a couple of things here. Where'd it go? This and where'd the other one go? Ah, here it is. Got two sets of decals in from Media Mix. I know, shocking decals, right? This MSM Creations sheet, which is just some Super GT numbers. I'm going to turn it this way. Oh, that's upside down. Some Super GT numbers. Basically, this is purchased because I need the number. These I'm too out of practice on this. These number 9s, because you guys may recall we have that anime Porsche GT3, and it has all the decals you need to make the Cox Racing, Good Smile Racing vehicle, except it doesn't have any numbers or the little auto back shields. So that's pretty much what this entire decal sheet is for. Is for those 9s and the auto back shields, and these ones back over here go on the back end of the car. Shunko makes a bigger set that includes like all of the numbers, which I need 2 of. Good luck finding. I'm probably going to have the numbers custom made for the Ferraris, but that's another story for another day. And then we got this, also an MSM Creations sheet, and this is the 1995 JGTC Tyson F40. You guys may recall we have the decals that MZ via Studio 27 does for the 1994. Well, in 1995, right before they switched over to the Porsches, they ran the F40 in a couple races. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. God bless me. And that's what this will do. It makes probably it makes the F40, I think, more people are familiar with than the other 1994 car, because this one sort of looks like the Advan car with the red and black with the black stripes. The other car is just a solid red car, which is funny, again, because this car only ran for a couple of races before all of the Porsches came tromping all over the place. So there are those. And then trying to think how else I want to do this so I don't get sort of lost in what I'm trying to accomplish here. I got too much stuff mixed together. Let's see. These could go over here. Yeah, so from Bailly, we picked up a few things. Pretty much the big thing that we got out of Baiyi was, and we talked about this in the past, were a plethora, as it were, of Super GT guides. From the 2004 JGTC guide, which is the first one of the big books that I showed you that they made. There's a 1994 to 2003 10-year compilation one that I've seen but I haven't bought. And then in 1994 they started making them for each individual season. So I got 2004, 2005, as well as 2009, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. 2015 guides aren't available, or at least not readily available. So that I got like 2,000, or not 2,000, excuse me, 1,200 pages of reference photos for my various race cars and decals. I gotta say, to me, it's very neat to see the cars themselves, because I've showed you before, it's sort of split in half. The the GT300 stuff is separate from the GT500 stuff. GT300 being GT3 cars, the GT500 being the top level stuff, the NSX, the Skyline, all that stuff. So it's kind of fun to see, these decal sheets that I have in color photos of the cars. Some of the stuff is easy to find online, or you go Calsonic Skyline into Google and you're gonna get 1,000 pictures of it. Some of the stuff's pretty obscure and it's kind of hard to find good pictures of. These guides sort of solve all of those problems. While we were at Baiyi, we found this set of decals right here, which is a British touring car championship things for the Tamiya Honda Accord, the the Japanese Touring Car Championship. Too many letters all of a sudden. So this will build one, sort of either or 20 or 21. You need the jacks or the I'm trying to think what the other one is that has this Castrol. Either jacks or the Castrol car, because you need the multi-spoke wheels, not the 5 spokers that come in the Pia car. But yeah, I mean, I'm not sure who made these decals. I've seen them around. They're screen printed. They are, they're not Alps, and they do have a price. These are being obviously sold commercially at some point. I paid $9 for it, so I got a deal on them. But yeah, this will be the one that I know of British touring car conversion, if you want to call it that, for the Japanese touring Honda Accord. So neat, cool. This sheet is like folded in half, so there's more decal reference on the inside, so you're not just stuck with like, oh hey, these are decals, good luck. And then also at Baiyi, we picked up 3 kits, just because they were kind of cheap, and why not, right? Because if you have a whole bunch of Super GT cars, you obviously need a Super GT safety car. This one specifically is for the 2008 season, which is ironically the one season right now that I have the most decals for. It is the one, other than the 2008-2009 season, are the closest you can come to making all of the GT500 cars. The 2008 season, there is a, I'm trying to think what it is. It's one year there's a Jaguar involved, and there's another year that they don't make the decals for. I think 2008, there's technically no decals for the Eclipse Lexus SC, but there are 2007 decals, and looking at the pictures of the 2 cars, they're pretty much identical, other than perhaps sponsorships, very, very minor sponsorship liveries, and either I'll get the sponsorship liveries made up to make the car in a 2008 car, just so I have the whole grid, or we'll just pretend it's close enough. And then the Jaguar kit, there is a Studio 27 multimedia kit that you could make with it, but again, you need to make decals for it. So, but anyway, this is pretty much your off-the-shelf Aoshima R35. I don't believe this kit has the engine in it, but it does come with roof lights. So there is that. I thought that was pretty cool. And then because the same seller had this, and both of these kits together weren't $30, we have the Highland Raceway safety car. Highland Raceway is closed. It doesn't exist anymore in a technical sense. I mean, the racetrack's still there, but it's not open. This was a very unique GTR in the sense that it was left-hand drive. It is one of the only left-hand drive GTRs in Japan that didn't get exported, and it is the only safety car in all of Japan that's left-hand drive. This was a testing mule for Nissan. They tested the GTR at Highland. So there's a lot of mystique that is associated with this specific car because it is obviously, technically speaking, not a production vehicle. All the decals come with this. Again, it has the strobe lights on top. And like I said, it's also a left-hand drive interior, which is kind of a different take on things. So this was not really a safety car. It was an official car, but in the era of Super GT in 2008, 2007, they did run at Highland. Highland closed it, I think, 2009 or so. So it's technically a era appropriate vehicle as well. And then last but not least from Baiyi, this is a kit I've been looking for a little while because it completes a set, and that is the Mines Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 7. So now I have all of them. There's a 5, a 6, and a 7. I couldn't find this for a long time. Now there's like 5 of them available. It seems like every time I look in interest, go, hey, let me search by Mines, just because I really would like to get the R32 GTR, the other one, the one that actually has decals, not the blank white one that I already have. And now all of a sudden you can't stop finding this kit, and couldn't find it for a while. So this kit actually does come with these wheels. So very nice. Not addition, but a very nice, thing to have. Well, we've talked about before. Fujimi's very good for showing you a car on the box and then not giving you what you see on the box. So, not an issue with this, with that kit anyway. Moving over to Hobby Search. I don't get a lot of stuff through Hobby Search. Their prices are usually a couple bucks more expensive than Hobby Link Japan. They only will hold items you have that are all going to come in the same month, being like if you had several pre-orders for the month of August, they will hold all of your stuff until the end of August, and then they'll ship it. There's no personal warehouse. There's no 60-day leeway. Every so often they have bargain sales, and usually I don't get anything with those because the bargain sales tend to be stuff that I'm not interested in, stuff that they can't get rid of. Basically a lot of domestic U.S. kits that have been exported to Japan. This time they actually had a couple things, so we grabbed them because they were like 18 bucks a piece or so. One is the Pacific Racing McLaren 12C. Why do I need another one of these? Well, I think we talked about it. I know I've talked about it with people. I just don't know if I still talked about it on the show. Right now, if you want a 2013 plus, so 2013, 2014, 2015 12C, there's different hood intakes, a different wing, different wheels. These front splitter canards, if you will, are different as well. If you want the 2013 plus, and this is very specific if you're going to have a bunch of Studio 27 decals, to pay attention to what year vehicle you're making, because I saw somebody build one the other day that they made it the wrong year car, and it just itched my scratch the wrong way, as it were. You need this, because this is the only current 2013 plus 12C kit in production. They've pulled the regular just blank orange one. I understand why. There's probably a whole pile of these laying around the warehouse. They're also priced a good 1,000 yen, 1,500 yen higher than the regular car, so they're going to get a couple of bucks out of it as well. I don't know how. I don't know that I necessarily am going to buy 20 more of these because I don't need that many. I need 10. I don't know if I would buy 10 more of these necessarily just to get this specific body style, because by golly, I've looked everywhere and you can't find the orange box ones anywhere. They were everywhere, now they're gone. I'll always love that about Japanese kits. It's like they hoard them off into a warehouse someplace, and then all of a sudden they'll show back up again, and they'll be 10 bucks because there's so many of them being hoarded. But be that as it may, like I said, this is the only way you can get it right now. And what's the worst thing that has happened here is I have a spare set of the anime decals when I actually build this car in this livery, so that's always a plus. And then last thing from Hobby Search, and this is just because, again, it was like 20 bucks. This is, of course, the Zent SC Lexus Super GT car. I already have, I think, 2 of these anyway, so this technically makes a third, but you guys know from the last Inside the Stash video, we have a whole bunch of Lexus decals, so never have too many base kits when you have that many decals. And while all of these Lexus kits are still in production in terms of being able to order them from Hobbylink Japan or other places. There's still a 3,700 yen, so it's still like a $32 kit, and picking it up for less than 20 was a deal that I was not going to pass by. In the case of the bargain sales, there's only one of each of those kits, so I managed to actually, for once, catch the bargain sale right as it started, which is midnight Japan time, which is 11 p.m. Eastern. And so I just happened to, be doing my nightly "what's going on in Japan" search, and they were like, "Hey, we got a bargain sale starting in 10 minutes." Okay, I'll bite. What do you got? So there's that. And then the rest of the stuff is all Hobbylink Japan. Starting off in the small detail stuff, we've got the we've got the 5-star wheels from Orange Wheel, aka Asuka. These are sort of a cross between a couple different wheels. Not really a specific one. They look like a couple different things, and they like usual. They come with either a 15-inch rim or a 15-inch wheel lip or a 16-inch wheel lip, so that you can choose the depth of your wheel to a certain extent. Also in this, I believe, they have these mounting blocks. I'm not sure if the other ones have had these before, but you sort of can take them and stick them to the inner wall of your car to make them whatever ride height you need them to be. It's a very cheap and easy way to adjust your ride height. Obviously, there's the way to mount them into a brake disc. As usual, these are 4-lug wheels, so know that going in. If you want 5-lug, 5 spokes, there's several options from both Aoshima and Fujimi that you can get. This will sort of tip my hand as to what else is in this box, but here is the detail upset for the TA64 Portugal rally car. So obviously the rally car itself is in here. This is the big sheet of photo etch. We got some seatbelt material. You got some antenna stuff, as well as some seatbelt decals for the seatbelt material. And so this is the tarmac rally car. So it's got different set of brakes than the other one does. So technically speaking, you can't use the other photo etch. Lots of fasteners, lots of intakes and things like that. So neat. And we got a whole bunch of decals here, because why wouldn't we? The first 3 of these things are they call them metal. They call them metal logos. I didn't whoops the name, but this one, the metal logos in here are behind the little price tag that Hobbylink Japan put on this. I want to peel the price tag off so you guys can see what this is, and then it's not going to come off without tearing. So let me see. What are we going to do about this? We're going to have to go in the backside here. Like I said, they're called metal stickers, metal logo stickers. If I can figure out how in the world this package is sealed. These decal packages usually have a resealable flap on the back, and this one does too, but it's being ridiculous in terms of how it's sitting there. And I just need to get this out from behind here. I need to play the Girl of Ipanema music, which is the music that they played on the Blues Brothers when they rode the elevator up to the county assessor. Because then you'd have some waiting music. Here we go. I didn't want to rip it. I was just saying it has to come apart. There we go. What I was saying is, they say metal stickers, but they are actually metal foil decals, because you can look at the back here, it tells you put them in the water, right? So these are the R33 decals, maybe. There you go. So a bunch of GTR logos and like the logos for the center wheel hubs and things like that. And then these are the R32 logos, which is a more traditional Skyline logo, as well as some GTR logos. And then this is the R34 logos, which includes like NER and M-Spec, V-Spec, Nismo, and all the things like that. These are like, they don't have a price on them, do they? No. But they're like $3 a piece or so like that. So, I mean, there's obviously more logos on each of these than you would need to build an individual kit in terms of the accessory things, because obviously the kit's either is either a Nismo Z-Tune or it's not, or it's an M-Spec NUR, it's a V-Spec NUR, it's whatever, the little trim package is. Beyond that, you're going to use all the rest of the logos, all the Nissan logos and all the GTR logos, because, they are, in this case, I don't know if it really comes across there, but yeah, see the Nismo logo has the red O as well. So these are colored and foil. So you're only going to use certain parts of this, but you're going to use the majority of everything else. It may be better than the kit decals. I really haven't compared them to stuff, but in terms of like the Fujimi kits and things like that, where the decals are sketch in the first place, these will definitely be better. These were reissued. They're Hobby Design. So if you want to, look those up on your favorite Japanese vendor, look them up on your favorite Japanese vendor. In so much as 1999 Hobby Search doesn't carry Hobby Design stuff in the first place, so you have to go Hobby Link Japan or another vendor for that. And then we go into Rust Card decals. This is a MZ set via Studio 27, and these are the decals to make the Tyson Porsche 962C. The Porsche 962C was basically the Advan car that ran in the prototype sports car series that they then decided, why not? Let's race it in JGTC when that whole what would become Super GT started. So very familiar livery design in terms of what it is. It's black, it's red and black with the striping, and this will make this car, along with the F40, actually won races. It's the only Type C prototype car to ever win a race in Super GT. So I had to grab that because, just because. And then we got the what are known as the G-Zox, but these are the Hasami Motorsports team cars for the Nissan Z. These are a very important section if you're going to be building a big chunk of these team cars. This is the 2004 car, so this will basically go on to a Tamiya, Impol or the Calsonic, depending on which one. I have to look at which wheels you need there. I think those are the Impol wheels to make the Hasami Motorsports version of the car. And I appreciate the fact that this is a little almost a tribute to Dale Earnhardt there, with the number 3 being the shape that it is and on the roof and whatnot. But this car itself would not require any modifications. You could just build this straight off of the kit itself. And then they also made a 2005 set, which is this, which is pretty much the same, except the roof on it is silver. That's what this first set of decals in the sheet is, silver. So this is a 2005 set. There would be some minor modifications to the rear end of the car in terms of the, I guess it would technically be the brake cooling ducts in the back. There's a little bit of a difference in the exhaust area. Probably not enough that anyone would really notice if you didn't want to fix it, but again, these two JGTC car, although technically 2005 would be a Super GT car at that point, but those two are, like I said, Hasami Motorsports cars. And then let me take a look what else I got here before we go too much further. This is the 1996 JGTC Advan decals to make the Advan NSX. These are Studio 27, very old Studio 27. They still make them, but obviously black and white line drawing rather than being a fancy, computer drawing like the other ones are. So there's that. You need the first gen NSX kit and need to do some modifications to it, or there is a multimedia kit specifically for the 96 car. Again, that's going to run you a whole heck of a lot of money if you can even find one at this point, because they obviously haven't been made for a while. And this is the 1999 Raybrig set for the NSX. That'll make Shazam this car on the back here. This would be pretty much one of the last production runs of the first gen NSX kit. Again, a little bit of modifications to the kit to get it into 99 spec. Studio 27 did make a conversion piece for the 99-2000 seasons, but again, they're sort of unobtainium, as it were. And then, let me see here. Make sure I've got everything. This is Studio 27 set to make the number 34 Tyson Porsche 911 GT2 car. The Tamiya kit itself makes the 33 and the 35 Tyson cars, which both won races in 1995. However, they also ran this car, which is a white car, and it also won a race. So, you know, to really complete out your set, you need the other the middle car there as well. In 1996, they ran a car which was known as the Tyson Junior team, which ran the GT300 series, and that is this car here. More of a traditional, you know, black and white, or red and white rather, paint scheme. This car won a bunch of the GT300 class races, but it did not win the championship that year. Well, this car did. This is the 910 Porsche 911 GT2 car. And this car won a bunch of races as well, but it also was the champion of the GT300 class for 1996. So, there's one more set of these decals for the Tyson cars, and or the 911 GT2 cars in general. And I need to track one of those down. And it makes the actual GT 500 level car for 1996. But old set of decals, we'll see if we can find a set. Moving on to what we actually got in the old boxer here. We got the Rocket Bunny Pandem Nissan Silvia S15 wide body kit from Hobby Design. Very neat. Comes with wheels, tires, all the over fenders, and all that kind of stuff. I really had a chance to dig into this. Might do a small review on this as well, just because of, you know, I know a lot of people were interested in it in general. And then the other sort of big old honking Hobby Design box is the what is generously called a super detail set for the MP412C McLaren. What this is inside of here, and we will probably take a look at this because of what it is a complete and total multimedia streetcar version of the 12C. You may recall that there is a set of Dubai police car decals for the 12C. They tell you to use the Fujimi race car kit, which is, of course, ridiculous because, well, you know, it's not a race car, it's a street car. This comes with everything. It's got wheels. It's got tires. Although the tires need to be cut out in the back there. Didn't realize that, but whatever. You have, you know, just resin upon resin upon resin dashboards. There's a full detail engine in this. Let's see. And here's the, oops. Let's see if I can do this without dropping everything, shall we? Not dropping everything without breaking everything. Here's the body itself. Having built a 12C race car, this is pretty spot on. Got some flash, got some runoff, you know, but you know, it's a resin kit, so that's not to be unexpected. No pinholes or anything else like that. Doesn't look like it's short shot, so that's always a plus. And then there's more kits. There's a resin vac form window in there. A whole bunch of PE, brake rotors and stuff like that. And then there's full instructions for it. I'll leave those out. I'll take a look at them. And then, last but not least, way down here in the bottom of the box will be window templates, because they have given you basically flat windows. They give you a vacuum form front window, but you have to cut your own side windows. So, you know, some people may consider that good. Some people may consider that not worth it. But if you want a street 12C, there's only one way to get it, and that's this one. Here's your vac form front window. So as we sort of sit here and mutter about this, yeah, this is ridiculously expensive. Paid way more for it than I ever had intended to, but it sort of became one of those obsessions where it was like, well, I really would like to build the car I bought the decals for. I mean, I knew going in that I couldn't build it out of the street car, out of the race car, but I just back ordered it for the S&Gs of it, basically trying to figure out if I could actually get one in. And yeah, it showed up, so it sort of is what it is at that point. And then let's take a peek at what we got in here for the rest of the box real quick. Walter Wolf version of the Eosh McIntosh. Different wheels, a couple different little pieces here, different from the other kits. Just got into a discussion about this one night, decided I wanted it, so why not? It does include seatbelts. So, you know, hey. Seatbelts, whee! And then we have the Nisiki Trust Porsche 962C. This is the only Porsche 962C that Hasegawa makes that has the right wheels for the Tyson car. So this will be my one Group C car other than the 956. That's not actually a Group C car. It's a JGTC car, so I consider that to be cheating. Notice that this team, number 100 here, this team, of course, go on to run your Raybrigg NSXs as time would go on. We got the next of the Hasegawa Honda kits. This is the N2 Touring version, the one that just came out a few months ago with the new front grille and new decals in it. Here's the all brand new tool, Hasegawa BMW 2000 Tii. I think everybody's seen enough of this, the inside of this one, so happy to have this one in finally. It's, you know, came out a couple months ago, been sitting over there waiting its time to take the flight, as it were. One of the last of the Tamiya factory kits I need for my various JGTC and Super GT factory kits that I'm not doing anything to in terms of adding decals, and that is the 2003 version of the Calsonic Skyline. There were only three 2003 Skylines because they were about to go over into the 350Z. So there's this kit, and then there is the Impal kit, the red and gray Xnavi and modal version. So a friend of mine accidentally got two of these, and he's like, what other decals are there? I'm like, well, there are no other decals for it because there were only three of them at the time. So I'm happy to have this, just simple fact of it completes a little set, as it were. We got, because we're gonna, like I said, the big massive project is building out my Japanese race cars. So we got this because it is needed for that project. This is the Castrol Tom's Supra. This would be a 1995. Yeah, 1995. So this would be the 1995 season. So this goes in with the Porsche GT 2s and the one Ferrari F430, and there'll be some R33 GTRs that ran that year. So this is not the championship year. The championship year for these guys was 1997. But it's cool. There were two of these Tom's cars, and for some reason they did not include decals to do both numbers. I don't understand that. Usually they're pretty good about that, but for whatever reason they didn't. And then, of course, we have the Tyson cars. We have 5 of these. Because you need 2 to build just factory stock. Because this car makes, like I said, makes the 35 or the 33. There's some very minor differences beyond the driver names and things like that, but it makes one of the two, and then of course you need another one to make the white car that ran as the 34, and then two more to run those the other two cars. Got the TE64 Celica Portugal Rally, and this is a big shocker to see this, right? I mean, I just showed you the photo etch, so you knew the kit was coming. And then we got two Skylines of them, two of these modified Skylines. This is the 74 2000 GTX. So you get a new front and rear fascia along with these new factory stock hubcaps and new 14-inch wheels to mount them on. And then last but not least is the 72 2000 GT, the 4-door. Again, you get new front and rear fascias and new wheels and hubcaps. And yeah, guys, that pretty much covers it, I think. You still in these kits, you get the non-factory stock wheels, as it were. These are the new ones. Wow, that's holy hell, that's bright. I forgot a way to dull that down a little bit. But these are the new hubcaps along the new front and rear fascias as well. And then you have the old wheels, which are, I guess, look like those Mark IIIs we talked about in this last stash report. And then there's a set of not quite legit factory stock wheels in there as well. Very basic kit. I mean, you're getting everything is molded in here, wire axles, and tongue depressor front suspension, but you know, it is sort of it what it is, as it were. There's your body on the 72. All right. So it's, you know, it's obviously you're not building this for contest necessarily, but it's a nice little addition to the Skyline collection, as it and you know, I'm happy with it. I know what I was getting into, so you know, I can't sit here and go, oh, wow, because it's not like that. So anyway, guys, that about covers it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys on the other side.